good evening and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Hello, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining myself Southside on the show this evening is two of Rangers Radio royalty. We've got Linda and we've got Bridgeman. How are you two?
Evening Southside and Bridgeman. Evening to all the listeners. I hope you're all well.
Oh, good evening Southside to yourself and yourself Linda. Good evening, and of course Foxy and the Techie boys in the background. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in from all over the world, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Aye, well, Linda, Bridge, the league season campaign is over. And after Saturday, I think I'm glad it's over now for the league anyway, that's for sure. Linda?
Okay, Saturday was obviously a game we just wanted to, finish a wee bit of a high and a wee bit of momentum Southside going into the big game at the weekend coming, but a game that just kind of summed up our season, didn't it? We concede the first goal, but then we come back into it. I'm sure you'll be getting into it in a wee bit more detail, but then we go, ahead and then we just concede some really terrible goals. So just a wee bit of a summing up of the last couple of months Southside, I think.
Aye, certainly was. Apart from that, did you have a good weekend?
Yes, I did, and enjoyed the sunshine, yes.
We're certainly getting that for a couple of days. That's our summer. Bridge, how are you, pal?
Yeah, I enjoyed the sunshine as well. It was brilliant.
You the gardener out, cutting your garden and that? Attending to the swimming pool?
Just like Linda was saying there, what can you... After watching that the weekend, you just... Well, you can't believe it, can't you? That's the saddest thing about it for the Rangers. The last few games, I think, was it the last 10, we've only won 4, or worse to that effect anyway. It's just utterly crazy and it's nonsense, just nonsense. So, obviously, we saw that what the team can do. We saw them making some terrible mistakes, and all of a sudden, they turn it on, and we go 2 goals up. And we just, somehow or other, we managed to just do the bad thing and threw the whole thing away. And it was just sheer, utter nonsense for our defence. Utter nonsense, I say. That's what I saw. And by the way, that last goal the guy scored to get the winner, to get the draw, just about absolutely fabulous goal for them. But us, my God, just terrible.
Linda, were you surprised when you seen the starting lineup? I think most of us has sort of guessed most of the team all week. I don't think any's put Scott right in, to be honest. But were you surprised? No, just what you thought?
Just kind of what we've been saying, and you just, the players that he had available to him, and you were just thinking, is anybody going to come back in that's maybe just coming out of injury? But he doesn't tend to start them, doesn't he, at Southside? And then you saw the bench and you thought, Seymour on the bench, Sterling, hopefully they'll go on and get some minutes. But no, the Scott Wright one was maybe... but with Scott scoring the 2 goals during the week, this is what he does. He turns up in a game and then we start him the following game and he doesn't tend to do much, doesn't he, not Southside?
No, he certainly... He'd a wee couple of runs on Saturday, but it sort of came to nothing in the end. Bridge, I heard the manager saying that he liked a 10-day rule. When you come out of injury, you come back and train for 10 days before he considers putting you in the team. But he's not even had a chance to do that this season, has he?
No, and it's a very sensible attitude. When I was over in South Africa playing with PE City, they had a sort of rule, an internal rule, 14 days. That's what they had. You're not playing for 14 days if you're injured. If you're injured and you're supposed to miss one game, don't bother trying. Obviously do your training to try and catch up, but no, you're not getting any games. So don't rush. 14 days. So it's a very similar to what you're talking about.
I thought, Linda, we started. Listen, it was a nothing game, to be honest, right? But it should always mean something when you pull on the jersey and play for Rangers. At the end of the day, there was still 3 points at stake. But I thought we started actually all right. We had a couple of chances. The one that I thought, because it was hard to see where we were standing at the other end of the stadium, right? But when the ball came in, got crossed in, you seen Dessers, you seen him moaning at the referee. I have seen it back. Listen, it might be soft, but let's no beat about the bush here. The boy had a Hoddy's jersey.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely, it should have been a penalty. I mean, it's one of the ones that it seems it should be clear. He's got to hold his jersey, and I know Dessers has been complaining about that a few times in some of in the games, but it's a clear pull, and I don't know. Everybody's just confused about what VAR gets involved in and what it doesn't now Southside. But I mean, I would have said that's an obvious error by the referee, and he should have been asked to go and have a look at it, I think.
At the time, Bridge, like we said, the ball just get floated in, and when like I say, you don't get to see nothing when you're at the game. So it just came up and said there was a VAR decision for a possible penalty. And the only thing I thought of it was Dessers' reaction, and all you could see him was saying, he's pulled my jersey. Listen, it's not enough to put a player down, but players get down all the time when they get a jersey pull. What did you think, Bridge? Think VAR should have looked at
it? Personally, yes. What I can't understand is either a jersey pull is a no-no or it's not. So they have to make that decision. As far as I'm concerned, it was a jersey pull, and that's a foul. And you see it all through the game, that game at the weekend. You see it. I think there's only one foul given against a player for a jersey pull. And there was so many of them. And that's the way our game is going. You've got all these people are just trying to do what they can do, or pull the arm, or pull the jersey, whatever it is, It's just to block and stop, They don't have anything else. And I just don't see why the referees don't do it. And don't get me wrong, Southside, I know exactly why they don't do it, because we're Rangers. They won't give Rangers a decision of any kind. If they do, it's absolutely grudging, and it must be for us to get even a throw in. It's absolute murder for them. They just don't want to do it, but it's so obvious they need to do it, and that's what happens with us. A wee bit of contention at all, don't give it. Just don't give it. And I've been watching them for all these years, and they all do the same thing. Don't give it. It's easier not to give a decision for Rangers. It's easier because all they get is pelters for giving decisions to Rangers. The press, the fans, and all the rest of it. Massive pressure on them. Plus the fact they don't like us, so it makes it easier.
I'm not sure if the ref actually seen it, but the fact that I believe Sky reviewed it and they said it was a penalty, but the fact that they didn't get involved, it surprised me. I thought the ref, Linda, had a bad game. He wasn't called to the monitor, so he can't really be blamed for it if you think about it. I don't know if he saw a jersey pull or no. The only other decision I thought he was poor at was, again, we had a chance to go in front when Dessers got into a ball and he got inside the box, Linda, and he hit it first time, and the goalie made a good save. At least he hit the target, but the ref pulled that back for a foul.
I couldn't see any fouls outside. I had a wee look at that again, and I don't know, like it's difficult to see where that foul took place, because I think on RTV they thought he had maybe been flagged for offside in the commentary, but then they looked at it back and they said no, it was a foul. It was called. I couldn't see any fouls outside. I agree with you.
Aye, at the game, I thought it was maybe going to get flagged for offside. And I had to look across that, and there wasn't. The linesman never flagged at all. I have seen the incident back, Bridge, and it's laughable. The defender tries to kick it, and Dessers just knocks it in front of him, and he's away. He gets the shot off. Obviously, the ref lets the play go on and stuff. I take it if we'd scored, they'd have went back to VAR to look at that, possibly, and they might have gave us a goal if he'd scored, because there was certainly no foul involved, Bridge.
I'm laughing here because I just knew you were going to bring that one up. It's just absolutely shocking. Shocking. There's absolutely no way, to me anyway, no way there was any foul there at all. And you're like yourselves, I thought, well, it must be for the offside. It must be for the offside. But I don't even know if it was for the offside or was it a foul. I think they gave it for a foul. And in my opinion, utter nonsense. Just utter nonsense. Again, back to the referee, Don Robertson. You see him every other week when he's at Rangers. I don't understand why Rangers get all these poor referees. I don't know. Maybe that's how they've got it. But we know why. At the end of the day, we know why. Because they'll disrupt Rangers' play.
I just thought it was a poor decision. I thought otherwise the game, Linda, it wasn't really much for the referee to get involved in for memory. But I think they were the two decisions that I remembered for Saturday that I thought it was wrong at the time, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're all agreed that the standard of the refereeing is an issue up here. And I know you get bad decisions in any league in the world, but up here the standard of the refereeing is really as poor as it's ever been Southside, you know. And I think that's representative with the fact that we don't have anybody at the upcoming Euros, I don't think, from Scotland, and that kind of says all, you know, when it's the Euros. So those two decisions were quite baffling.
I think the next big thing in the game at that point was probably when Ross McCausland stole a ball off the boy, sorry, at the edge of the box, Bridge, and he squares it across to Dessers. He should score. The only thing I'm going to say, and it's the only thing, because I've seen it back, if he puts the ball probably 4 or 5 inches forward than he did to Dessers, I think he just guides it. He plays it to him and it's more or less right into his feet. He should still score. Don't be kidding. I thought he'd have guided it, Bridge, just to the goalkeeper's right-hand side in the corner, but complete Saturday.
Yeah, you know, we will talk about Mr. Dessers for long and hard, because he isn't, by the look of him, he isn't doing it, and he can't do it. For some reason or other, he can't do it. He comes in one game, we score 2 goals and look good for whatever it be, 10, 20 minutes of the game, and he's involved. He gets his goals, and then everything just shuts down about him. And I don't understand it at all. Look at the size of him. He's a big fella, you know. It's not as if he's getting tore into these people. You know, he can sometimes get tore in, and you can see it. Then you can see he's on form, he's feeling better. But he just not at it. He wasn't at his game at all. He was getting beat for the high balls and beat to the ball on the ground. It's not right. It's not right. That's the way I feel about him anyway.
Listen, it was a gilt-edged chance. It's a chance to put us in front, Linda, and he just doesn't put it away. I thought in general on Saturday his link-up play was no bad, but he's judged on scoring goals, and when you're getting a chance like that, no matter how the ball was delivered into your feet, you're a striker. Should be instinctive, just guide it into the corner of the net, I would have thought. Yeah.
I think it's a sitter and it's an awful miss. And the thing about it is that he has a look at Ross, and I think he is complaining about the ball, but he really has to score. And the thing about this is with Dessers is we can't give him any time out of this starting 11 either, can't we not, Southside? Because there's nobody to come in and sort of play that position. So he's having to play every week. And one thing I'll say is he has been available, but Brad is right. I mean, the some of the chances that he's missed, we've spoke about this for, you know, all season. But for me, he's got to score that. It's if he's a natural finisher, I think he just tucks that away.
Listen, he's the best striker we've got at the club now.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many he misses, but he turns up. He's never injured really. He does try. He's just in big moments in games, because as we're talking, Bridge, possibly Far looks at it or should have looked at it and gave us a penalty, and also he misses that chance, because once the chances are missed, Hearts biggie the Bobby in the middle of the park, and to be honest, that boy I think the boy tried to play it to I don't know, is it Vargas or Oda? I don't know what one it was, but I don't think it was meant for Shanklin, if I'm honest. I think he tried to play it into the boy that was beside the two Rangers players, but it just seemed to go right across the park, and before we know it, when he ran through, I thought he's not missing this probably, you know. My heart sank, because I thought Shanklin, no, he's usually pretty good running in, and he certainly finished it with aplomb, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, like the guys are obviously good when he's with Hearts. He's good and he scores goals and he plays with a lot of heart. And he might just be that type of player that'll do that. But seriously, we cannot, I don't know how many, everybody's must be fed up listening to me. We cannot go on giving the ball away in midfield. From the midfield, we're giving so poor balls. I would rather they just turn around and kick the ball out the park and give away a throw-in or a goal kick, you know. Anything at all other than make a pass that's a poor pass and it's picked up by one Hearts player or whomever it is we're playing, one of their players, and they just either pass the ball straight past our player or players, and before you know it, they're in our half. And that's the danger. And we don't have a defence that can catch very many people nowadays. We just don't have the speed and the pace. We just don't. It's not there. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a death nail for us as far as our team's concerned when we give the ball away in midfield. Obviously, all teams give the ball away. Don't get me wrong. But as long as you're doing it, and if you make a bad pass, and okay, you can get back and cover it up. But these ones are so crucial. Everybody's on the run. We're on the charge. We're pressing. All of a sudden, the lightning quick pass is picked up by somebody else, and away they go. And that's what kills us every time. As we said, as it did the weekend, as it did.
I think Linda at the time, I mean, Tav has went onto the halfway line. He's went up to try and join the play. We've got possession of the ball. Cantwell's eventually gets it, thinking that when he picked it up, he might turn and try and go and create. But he just seems to knock a sort of lazy pass into the middle of the park. I know we had players there or thereabouts, but it wasn't to a blue jersey. It was let into space, and before we knew it, the boy just picked a pass. And I don't think he tried to pick Shankland. I really don't at the time, but it doesn't matter. It got to Shankland, and he'd the freedom of Tynecastle because Tav was nowhere there, and the two of them, the two central defenders were too busy with the one boy in the middle.
Exactly. They had three players. Oh, sorry, Linda. I do apologise.
No, it's fine.
I might have stepped. Sorry, Anne.
No, I agree with you, Bridge, what you were saying as well about the fact that that pass, it just took 3 or 4 of our players totally out of the game, Bridge. And if you look at Cantwell's reaction, Southside, he's expecting somebody to run onto the ball, you know, but it's very, very dangerous, that pass inside like that, because of the risk to take your teammates out of the game altogether. But the finish from Shankland was really great, wasn't it? I mean, that's the sort of finish that, you know, he puts that away with aplomb. He doesn't even think about it. It's all natural. But no, it was a poor goal to lose again, Southside.
Aye, I was hoping Butland would have saved it, to be honest. You know, he's running right through. You're looking, you think, I mean, I thought at first he might hit it early, try and go on to the goalie, but he drew him in and then just chipped it, you know. But listen, he's a good finisher. Aye, he misses the odd one here and there that I've seen before, but he's got 31 goals this season, and he's usually pretty half decent with one-on-one with a goalkeeper when he gets a chance, and he proved it. And that was us back to square one. Now, I think if you just hold on a second, I think we've been joined by Big Stevie.
How you doing, people? All right?
How you doing, Big Stevie, for the drum?
Hey, Stevie.
How's the legend? All right? How's the bridge man?
Excellent, pal. Thank you. Excellent.
And how's the Queen of Rangers Radio? How's she?
Is that Southside or something?
Oh, here you. Where's that button? I'm just going to boot her now.
I thought I would just say that before Southside says it or Stevie says it. I'm well, Stevie. How are you?
Brand new. You wouldn't be calling Southside a ferry if you see them in the tunnel at Tynecastle. Just let me tell you, the man's behaviour, honestly. But anyway, we'll not get into that over the airways, will we, Southside wingman?
I have no idea what you're going on about.
I love it. Right, anyway, I'm on to say my thank you to the Rangers Radio's listeners who donated and took shots at the football card for Billy Fulton's headstone. We had a wee service, as you know, Southside, and I also want to thank you, Baldbear and EK, for turning up at the service. I can assure you it was all done in a dignified manner, and you know that yourself. And I can't thank everybody for Rangers Radio who donated and turned up on the day. It was absolutely brilliant. And Billy Fulton's grandson was there, Big Bob. He was there, the moon, and the great-great-granddaughter was all there, and they couldn't believe what we'd done for them. So another good deed. So when we go to Hampden on Saturday and we sing the Bully Boys, we can hold our heads up high, people, okay?
Absolutely.
So thank the listeners. Guys like Keith Hamilton, be Andy for Leeds, and there's many, many more. I wouldn't get in, and I'll be here all day, but the guys there, listeners, loyal to Rangers Radio platform, thanks very much. Thanks to everybody that donated.
Aye, it was a good day. Big man, you done well, and everything that was done on the day was fantastic and done very well. So I'd like to thank you, mate, for what you've done and all, because it was a lot to put together and do a lot of research and all that. So you've done the stuff. So you're proud of what you managed today and get everybody that got involved. But it was a good day.
I mean, I'll give you a classic example of the left-wing media. All the journals I read that said he was a fascist because he hung about with Mosley, done the security for Mosley. But they forget to tell you that half the bully boys at the 800 went to fight the Kaiser, went to fight the Germans, and wee Bully was one of them. He was the Royal Navy. He's a boiler maker, and about something to do with running the boilers and the Royal Navy. And they try to taint this guy with he was a fascist because of Mosley and all that. But that's just the left-wing media, so don't listen to any of that crap. Wee Bully was one of us. He fought against gangs like the Norman Conks, who were Irish immigrants trying to fling their weight about. The wee man stood in and done his business. That'll do me lovely. I certainly would have joined these gang. There you go. So anyway, listen, thanks to all the Rangers Radio punters who put their hands in their pockets. The wee man's got a cracking headstone there. It's something to see. Well, no mention where, but anyway, absolutely fantastic. Thanks to everybody and yourself. And Albert, by the way, I couldn't believe Albert there. That was, what a touch that was. Seeing guys like Albert, brilliant. And Jimmy, JFK was there, I know, an ex-panellist at Rangers Radio, 10 out of 10 to Jimmy as well. It was a good wee day and it was a good catch-up, a lot of good old faces there and that, and I thought that never have came, but they did. But listen, once again, this platform, charities, stuff like that, we all dig our heels in, and that's what this platform's all about. Thanks very much, people. Now, I'm going to get back because I need to go and pick my boy up with training, okay, people? And remember, we are the people, and let's get into this mob on Saturday. Our sleeves rolled up and get in there and back Big Deserts. We know what he is. We know he's not a first striker. We know when he's got time to think, he twists his feet and he gets stuck under him. There's nobody wants him to do any better than myself. I think we've seen the worst of him. He does some running about now. He's getting fitter. He knows what game. Just let's hope he can stick one by them on Saturday. So come on, be positive. We are a people. Come on, Teddy Bears. Good night.
Good night.
Brilliant, man.
Andy's gone.
What a man.
Right, where were we actually? We're talking about football, aren't we, when I brought him in? Aye, as we were saying, we ended up getting 1-0 done. Linda. It just thumbs up our season for times in the game, but at times this season we've showed that we can come back for being behind in the game. In second half, I thought, listen, Ross McCausland, he gets the goal and he gets the ball in down the centre of the middle of the park. And I've said on here repeatedly, that's where I'd watched the young boy for playing for the B team. And I know it's a big difference playing for the first team. And maybe come on to talking about Ross later. But I thought what he done on Saturday is what I've seen him do in the B team. And I think in the middle of the park, low sense of gravity, goes either side, Linda, and I think it was a great finish, to be honest.
Well, it was a fantastic finish. And obviously he's followed up his goal midweek, and that's all 2 games in a row. He's showed a real bit of confidence. I thought it was a terrific finish. They were calling for a foul. It wasn't a foul. So glad that they didn't look to disallow it. And he absolutely finished it brilliantly. It's an interesting discussion that about where the best place is to play him. But I thought he was terrific. And you know what, Southside, he actually earlier on in the season, when you think about the injury he got in that Motherwell game, he was playing with lots of confidence at that point as well. And it's taken him a wee while just to recover from that and get back into the games, and show what he's made of. But so pleased for him, and I hope we start him at the weekend.
Aye, well, I'm maybe going to something like that later. Aye, we're talking about him. Aye, Bridge, listen, it was a nice wee flick. He goes by Devlin as well. When I seen him take the shot, for where we were standing, I was thinking, because it was hard to see the goal, and you can actually see the bottom of the post for that end when they stick you in that corner. I wasn't too high up, but it was some finish. It didn't look to be a lot of power. It just seemed to be right exactly where they wanted to put it, right in that corner.
Yeah, a brilliant goal. Lovely flicks. And I mean, that just demonstrates to me that Rangers can play. They've got players that can do these things, and when it all works and runs together, you end up getting really good goals like that. And then, of course, it doesn't happen all the time, as we know. But my goodness gracious, wouldn't it be lovely if we could get that done 3 or 4 times in a game, and maybe not score every 3 or 4 times, but at least get the shot in. Make the move and get the shot in. But no, take nothing away, but a brilliant goal for me. Great.
I think, Linda, what it shows is a few times, even last week in the game at Ibrox, when he's in the midfield, he's got a low sense of gravity, he's got good vision. So I just see a difference in him for when he plays on the wing. He's not really going to get the ball very often. I mean, him and Tav, I think, were linking up good together for a wee while until his injury. I think they were complementing each other, were understanding each other. And it got disrupted after that when Ross went out injured. But he usually comes inside to try and link the play. But I think when he gets the ball around about anywhere in the middle of the park, I just think you see a different player in him altogether going forward. He's just that direct.
Yeah, absolutely, Southside. I think for the manager, it's been the lack of wingers available to him that he's probably thought, I need to play him out there. But even when he has been playing out in the right, you're right, he likes to come inside, and if he can get a really strong left foot as well, he's obviously finished really well at the weekend, but sometimes he does cut in quite a lot. When you're watching him, you're looking for him to take the player on the outside. But no, as I said, a lot of it has got to do with what's been available to the manager, and I think that's maybe why he has been playing him out there. Whether or not Southside Clement sees him as a right-sided kind of winger type player, who knows? But it'll be interesting to see going forward when they do their analysis about what's available to them in the new season, where young Ross fits in. But I think he's done really well, and what has probably been obviously his kind of full kind of debut season for us.
Well, that's the thing that people forget. He's been flung into the team, and he only got put in because Lovelace got injured at St Mirren, and Stephen Davis was in his last sort of game as temporary manager. And since then, he's been more or less an ever present to a point up until injury, or else Clement wanted to maybe swap him out. Bridge, but for a young boy that had only been playing low league football and just never near the first team, actually contract was running out at the end of this season, to have been flung in, because he might have been going out the door at the end of the season for.
Well, if you look at the boy, even the last 2 games, I think he's playing absolutely brilliantly. We know that there was weaknesses, and he has only a wee fella, if you follow what I mean, and young guy, and people kind of bully him because that far into the professional game. But they've not bullied him that much this last 2 games, maybe 3. But I'm delighted with him, and I do hope that they find a space and a place for him and give him a contract. Have they given him a contract yet? Outside,
McCausland?
Aye.
He signed a 4-year deal.
Excellent. Well done.
I gave him a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's brilliant.
We've been rambling enough. I think maybe it's time, if you want, we'll get the phone lines opened, and hopefully we'll get some people in, have a wee chat tonight. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
So after we get the equaliser, Linda, we had a couple of wee chances. I think there was a play when Dessers had a shot blocked, I think, or Silver, I believe it was, had a shot blocked, and it came back to Cantwell. He had a shot and it was blocked as well, just before we sort of got the second goal. I thought the second goal was quite well worked. I thought it was a nice pass in for Tav, straight into Dessers, who flicked it over to to Cantwell. And once he sort of got it done, under control in his feet, he finished it. Great finish, actually, right in off the post into the bottom corner. Similar to what Ross McCausland same post, but I thought it was a great finish. Yeah,
terrific finish, and that's what we know Cantwell can do, isn't it, Southside? It's just getting him to do it more regularly. It was a great move, as you say. The link-up play was good to have to Dessers back to Cantwell. We had to adjust this, as you say, his footing a wee bit with the lay-off of Dessers, but it's a great goal, and the goalie's got no chance because it's placed so well and off the post, and you're just thinking 2-1, that's great. Thought back again, and we've taken the lead.
Bridge, it was. I thought it was a great finish for Cantwell, but I thought it was a good move. No, it was a good pass for Tav, and he got and Dessers put it right onto Hingme. And I think Dessers, when he played it, he was away looking to see to get the ball again. But I think Cantwell only had one thought at the edge of the box. Thought a defender. You'd think a defender would put a tackle right in against him, but the fact that he had it and shifted it in his feet. And he only had one thought, and it's just a bit of magic for him. That's what you expect for that type of player. That's what we paid the money for.
Yeah, sorry, Bob, sorry.
No, I was forgetting he's a freedom of contract, but we're talking about that's why we brought him to Ibrox for moments like that.
Yeah, I think he's a super player. I've no doubt about it. And all we want him to do is concentrate as much as possible with us, and that's going to be very difficult for him. We know he can score some smashing goals, and he has done. Scored some smashing goals for us, and he's a major player insofar as creation as well. But I think sometimes he gets caught up in the moment, and the players, the opposition, no matter where they are, the opposition and the fans, the opposition fans, they're not going to leave him alone, and they'll try to nip him and all the rest of it. And you've seen that the last couple of games there, some dreadful tackles on him. Bumps and shoves and pushes and pulls, all that nonsense and that going on. And I know he likes to get his own back, sort of in the game. My personal opinion is he should just forget about getting your own back in that game, because that sometimes leaves openings. You try to get your own back and it doesn't work, and by goodness gracious, you make mistakes and they got to go for it. That kind of thing. I don't want Cantwell to be involved in any of that crap, but. The rest of the team need to back him up. When he gets caught in all these situations and things like that, the rest of the team need to back him up, just like sometimes they did with Alfie. Just drag him away out of the way, pull him away out of the way, calm everything down, because they end up with 3 or 4 players running about them and they're shouting and bawling. There's no hitting them or anything like that, but they're shouting and bawling all the time, And it's just no nice. No nice for a Rangers player to be in the end of that. So I love to see Cantwell be a star for us. If we can get people to be able to play, good players that can play beside him, it'd be brilliant. We really need to get that done. In my opinion, Cantwell's good, and Rangers will be good with him in it, in my opinion.
I think, listen, he's got good feet, he's got good vision, he runs about. That's maybe the thing that sometimes Clement doesn't want him to do. I think under Michael Beale, he was told he could just go and pick pockets of space anywhere in the parkland, and I think that's what he did under the previous manager when he was here. But Clement wants you to work in a system and find pockets of space, probably like he has in the past couple of games where he's been decent. When they say he's been outstanding. But he's got 2 goals in 2 games, and he's been influential in the 2 games. But let's not be kidded, they didn't really matter. But you need to hit a bit of form coming into this. But just as the Scottish Cup's coming up, if he's hoping to be selected. So it's good to see him in this type of form in Ulander.
Yeah, I think that was 7 or 8, maybe 8 goals he's got for the season. I mean, what would be of class as a decent return for Todd? You're maybe looking for him to get into, double figures. But as you say, Southside, to have more influence in the big games. And the bigger games for us are the old firm games, and obviously the European football as well. We need him, to really, really show up this coming weekend. I know we'll obviously be building up to that. But certainly as Bridge said, he's a marked man in this league and in this country. And he was talking about after the Dundee game during the week, he had a pal for most of the game, the guy following him about, man marking him. So he's going to have to deal with that south side. And I think Clement's alluded to his work off the ball is a bit of a problem, and perhaps giving the ball away at times, which we did see for the Hearts opening goal there. But no, I hope Todd has got a big performance in him come this weekend, Southside.
Aye, because obviously as we got the third goal, I thought the third goal was quite well worked goal. And out the 5 subs that we brought on, and I'll probably touch on a couple of them just shortly. But Kieran Dell come on, Silva come on, who obviously scores the third goal, and obviously Seema and Sterling come on a bit later. But Kieran Dell, I thought when he came on for the half-hour Bridge, I thought he actually worked hard. He got on the ball, he sort of drove us forward a bit when he got on the ball. Nothing spectacular. He had a shot that the goalie palmed onto the post that Seema tried to shoot, and the goalie saved it with his legs. And he was also involved in the third goal because Raskin gave him the ball, and he drove forward with it and played it out to McCausland. And when he puts it across the Bolts Bridge, you can see Dale. I don't know if he tried to toe poke it in or he was trying to maybe take it in his stride to go in, but it just missed him. And that's when Silva reacted to go on the ball inside the box and hit it first time by the goalkeeper. But I thought he was involved in that, and I thought he done no bad when he came on for the half hour that he was on the park.
Yeah, I must agree with you. I think both Dowell and Seema, when they came on, I thought they were quite good. I'm not dead sure if Dowell is going to succeed at Rangers overall. I think Seema will. And I don't know if the manager sees him as a main part of Rangers going forward. I don't know how old he is, so you guys can maybe tell me what age these guys are. I don't know. Seema is a machine, to me anyway. Well, I've seen him at Ibrox, and he's well liked with the fans. I like him. And you see him, if he's not up the front, he's at the back, kicking the ball off a line, or whatever it is he does. So he is a very popular guy. But when we've got good players, or potentially good players there with they two, the young lads, Silva, I doubt very much if you're going to see him at Ibrox next season. But what can you say? He did it, he scored a goal. Partly a good move, he scored a goal. He's part of a lot of good moves. The ball seems to break down quite a lot with him. And he needs to get rid of that out of his game if he's going to stay at Rangers.
Linda, did you notice that he came on the park? Dill, did you sort of notice him, or did you see what he sort of go into the game? I know it's hard with half an hour to go, but I thought he tried to get on the ball as much as he could and link up the play. So obviously it's probably about the manager to help me today, but obviously it's a meaningless game. But I just thought it was good to see him get involved in the game. You always see subs come on and do very little. Yeah,
I thought he did well when he came on Southside. You're right. He is the sort of player that likes to get on the ball, and he tries to make things happen. He likes to carry the ball as well. He's not afraid to do that, and he's not a slouch. I know he's not he's not a sprinter by any stretch of the imagination, but he moves quite well with the ball. And if we can get him up to more nearer the goal as well, he's quite happy to take a shot too. The thing about Dowell Southside is the fact that we've not seen enough of him because of the injury situation. So we don't even know if there's a chance that he could get himself a run of games and score a few goals and really, really influence our play, because we've just not seen enough of him. But I agree with you, I thought he did all right when he came on.
Aye, he was a wee bit more noticeable has been in the past, Linda, I thought.
Aye.
But I'd sitting 3-1 up. And then the usual, we conceded a goal in about 81, I think it was 81 or 82 minutes, something like that. Tav, if I'm honest, absolutely roasted in the penalty area with the boy. He shouldn't get the ball across. Yilmaz is attracted, same again, similar to the goal last week. He's attracted to the player in front of him and doesn't know what's behind him. and Silva has just walked up the park and obviously looked at the ball. You can see him before. I'd watched it back. He's trying to point across to somebody to look for somebody, but that right back's ran up the park right in front of him. And Yilmaz doesn't know until it's too late. And it's a sloppy goal to give away again.
Yeah. For me, the guy that ran up the park is Silva's man. As far as I'm concerned, anyway, they good walk. No, they get up the park and going like, look, what about him? Get out there yourself and go there, because everybody else seems to be concentrating and trying to block or tackle or guard the other men. Look, there's no good for me. There's no good moaning too much about it. The truth of the matter is, we're very, very poor in defence, not just in play, but in thought and strategy. And I'm not saying that managerial strategy, I'm talking about the team. We don't seem to know what we're doing as defensive players. Now, it's only every 10 minutes or so, and all of a sudden there's pressure on them, and they can't do it. We can't jump for a ball. We've not got anyone in defence who can actually jump for a ball. I'm not being funny when I say this. I'm honestly, God, they can't jump for the ball. If there's anybody near them, they can't jump. When they're free, yeah, they probably can, but under pressure, they can't react. They don't seem to be able to react. So your taller guys that we've got in the team, the Goldsons and the Souters, are not there. So you're left with the guys who are maybe 3 inches short of being a decent height for a centre half. So we just don't have anyone. And I think it's sad.
Mm-hmm. Lindano Tav probably doesn't want to commit in the box. The boy's technically not a bad player. It was that boy Oda, I think, wasn't it? But I thought it was similar to the goal Scott Wright scored this last week when Kieran Dale chipped it to the back post and he was standing there and he side-footed in at Ibrox. But we're wide open again. Silva's guilty of no tracking the runner, and Yilmaz is unaware because he's attracted again to what's in front of him. And the boy's just opened. It's just poor, isn't it? It's really, really poor.
I mean, the thing is, like, from a Hearts perspective, they probably think it's a really good goal, but I don't know, we all just feel just now, Southside, that teams don't really need to do an awful lot to score against us. I don't know, it kind of feels like that a wee bit. You get one-on-one with our fullback, and this time it's Tav, and you put the ball into the box. I mean, it doesn't need to be pinpoint accurate. He's not really picking anybody out, but he knows that there's a good chance that there'll be a runner, that one of our players, and this time it is Silva, I agree with Bridge, that they don't pick them up, and then they've got a free chance at the back post. So several points of failure is normal, and it's a poor goal, Southside again.
And the thing about it is, at the time, I thought, right, okay, 3-2, and then it got to the 90th minute. Well, saying that, Shanklin had a chance, if you remember. He'd miscontrolled it. Our defence was wide open, and he got his foot on it, but he didn't control it. I mean, we were lucky at that point, but when it got to the 90th minute, I thought there was a couple of times on the Park Bridge where we got a couple of free kicks, and we were looking to put it in the box. And I'm thinking, why are we not putting it into the corner flag? How's even maybe Clement shouting at them, or game awareness, game experience? We've got Tav in there. He was the guy who was taking the free kick. You'd have thought he'd have said, put it into the corner flag and get somebody to go and chase it down there and waste time. But no, we start putting balls into boxes, Bridge, and at the end it costs us.
Yeah, it's like I think you can see that was typical. And Saturday, they're 2 up. They're 2 goals up. You lose 2 goals rapidly, and that is criminal. I mean, it's absolutely criminal. And as a Rangers fan, like yourselves, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's okay. It happens one game. Maybe happen another game, but no, not every other game. That's what's been happening to us for the best part of 3 months. Nearly every other game, we're losing goals. And it's shocking. It's just shocking. And that, you mentioned Ibrox, when we lose a goal at Ibrox, we should never in a month of Sundays should we be losing a goal at Ibrox. That should be just a no-no. It should be a no-no. We should be killing people if they come near our box and have a shot. Now, obviously, I know they are going to score goals, so I'm not stupid. But that's the mentality our players should have. And they don't have it. They just don't have it. And I don't know what it is. I don't know how they're going to get it. They're going to have to buy players that can play football. And when you can play football, you don't want to lose. Let's put it that way. If you're a half-decent football player, you don't want to lose. And everybody else round about you will get a big earful if you lose. That's what happens. That's what should happen, should I say.
Mm-hmm. Aye, game awareness, Linda. The ball should have been picked. There was a minute before they scored. The goalkeeper gets the ball and he ends up launching it up the park. Listen, they flung the big boy up, Frankie Kent. He towered above Leon King when he got onto the ball in the head. And listen, when I seen it at the time, I thought, wow, that was a good finish. It must have been good to beat Butland for there. You know, it was just, I was thinking back to the one that Hateley scored, and they called it the boot flick goal. When Durant knocked it on and Hateley smashed it because their goalie punted it, he headed it and he bulleted it in the net. And that's what I thought. It was like a boot flick goal. I was like, unbelievable, man, what's happening here? But listen, it was a decent shot. But it was just your luck to sum up the whole season in the league.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, as you said earlier, you've just got to manage that game out and be clever and show that you can do it. You know, it's to be 3-1 up and then, you know, to end up drawing that 3-all. The players on the park need to take a bit of responsibility. Southside, you know, the manager can be barking instructions from the sidelines and try to tell them what to do, but these guys need to take a bit of responsibility. I just thought it was awful. It was a terrific finish from the Hearts forward. But as you say, big launch up, the flick on, and then he finishes it well. But we have got to see that game out because it was important to us. We wanted to finish with a victory. And then you walk away and you've drawn a game again. You've conceded 3 goals. You've scored 3 goals away from home and you've not won the match. I mean, it was very poor Southside, but what else can you say? As you said, it just sums everything up just now.
Linda, you just mentioned that flick on. There's absolutely no way in this God's earth that guy should have got to that ball and flicked it on. No. And then the boy absolutely smashed it in. A wonderful goal, brilliant skills, no trouble at all. I don't have any objection. But our defence never challenged that guy in the air at all. Never challenged him. And he managed to get there, flick the ball on. Well done to him, and well done to the guy for putting it away. We were murder, just murder.
In fairness, Bridge, Leon King did try to attempt. He's not the biggest centre back we've got, and the boy Frankie Kent is quite a tall boy. I just thought he should, obviously he could have maybe tried to have put him off slightly more. It was one of the ones. He's flicked it, and the boys ran on it. He's run off Yilmaz, Sterling standing there and all. Run about and doesn't attempt to try and get in the way. It was just one of the finishes. Probably tries it again umpteen times. It never happens, Linda. Do you know what I mean? But they nailed it that day when they had to, and they got a 3-each draw at it. And that was just the sad part on your side, that we lost a goal at the end. I was looking at the subs that we brought on, Linda, right? We had Yilmaz, Silva, Dow, obviously Seamer come on, and Sterling. Out of that, I thought Dill for the half hour, I noticed he was on the park and I thought he tried to contribute. Silva doesn't track back, scores a goal. That's what I would say his contribution was. Yilmaz and Sterling, I thought, didn't really do anything in the game when they came on. I think Sterling looks really, really out of place in that centre-back role.
Should never be there. Should never be there, ever.
Let Linda answer first, then I'll come to you, Bridge.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine, Bridge. I agree with you. I feel sorry for Big Sterling Southside because he's been shifted about from pillar to post all over this team. Wherever we need somebody, they just shove him in. It feels a wee bit like that Southside. I know there's more thought to it than that, but he's... I don't know about you, but for me, his best position's in that midfield and we need him in there. But ironically, we've not even had a chance to put him in there because there's been cover required in other positions. the time when he was playing in the midfield, and I know we've touched on this before, we were going through probably our best run of form when we had him in the middle of that park. But no, he's not a centre back. I mean, it's but what can the manager? Again, we've taken Ben Davies off Southside probably just to try and protect him for next weekend, you know. But it just ended up being a real makeshift defence at the end, and unfortunately we just couldn't see that game out.
We're playing the third best team in the league, right, by a long way, and we end up with a central defensive pairing of Sterling and King. I'm sorry, it just doesn't bogger well for us. So the rest of the league will turn and say, who was the Rangers centre half pair? King and Sterling. Nah, they're rubbish. We're all right. We scored 2 goals past them, and there it proved that they did it. Sadly. Really sad.
Aye, listen, there's a lot of things that you could. I'll put it to you and I'll put it out to the people that's listening. And if anybody wants to phone in and give their view on it, the reasons why we've lost the league this season, would it be due to poor transfers, bad refs, be decisions that's cost us in certain games? Injuries have certainly probably hampered us. That's probably about the 3. I'm thinking off the top of my head that's probably influenced things this season that's cost us winning the league, Linda.
Yeah, would you throw any tactics into that? Because I don't know, I'm not trying to point the finger at the manager too much, because I think he's done, he's been remarkable what he did to get us back into it, but ultimately we have finished second, you know, we can't get away from that. But, you know, when you think about, you know, particularly the last couple of months outside, there's been times where we've all spoke about the shape of the team, the midfield setup, and I know he's been working with what he had in front of him, so I would say perhaps maybe some tactical stuff as well.
I think like we've said on here, and we've thought sometimes tactically he's made a certain decision. I mean, I don't think, well, for instance, against him up there, he should have brought Ross McCausland on at half time when Suter went off. I would have questioned that. He obviously knew why he done it, but for me, I don't think that was the right thing to do at that time. Maybe some team selections, Bridge, you could maybe think might be different, but I think fitness, you could probably fling into that as well, Linda, because the players he's alluded to, Bridge, weren't fit enough for him for when he's come in, and the amount of injuries that we're getting, it's shown that they weren't completely fit at the start of the season.
Well, you've heard me on here, time immemorial, and I'll say it again tonight, and anybody wants to sort of phone in and say something, even to support me, there's no way in God's earth that Rangers can expect to have a team of players that haven't had a pre-season training. They have to get a pre-season in. That's the foundation for your fitness, and that will carry you through for 9 months, next 9 months of playing football. No matter how many games there is, you'll at least get a bit of rest here and there with the days off and things. But you've got to have that basic. And you can see some of your players that haven't had that. They just come back for injury, and they're like Tona Caraman, as a lot of guys like to say. They're just very poor. And you watch teams that play against us, and the guys that we're playing against look like speed merchants against us. But they're no speed merchants. We know they're not. They're just faster than us. And that's just criminal for me. You know yourself, you played football, you watched it all your life, and Rangers have never had any guys in the team playing, for instance, on the wing that weren't fast. But we've not got anybody. Even that boy Ross McCausland isn't fast. But, you know, give him a full season, and a full pre-season, and with the team, and with the full team. And I'll tell you, you'll see a big difference in that boy. And speed and thought. You'll see it, because it's there. That's where you get everything, foundation of actual fitness, and then the coordination, the eyeball coordination, which is your match fitness. All of that, you know, you start to think, you think quick, you think slow. If you think slow, you're going to get caught up sometimes. But if you think quick, well, you'll be able to get by, and that's what it's all about. In my opinion, it's all about. No, I don't mean to minimise it. It's a really, really important thing. So as far as I'm concerned, get them a full pre-season, and they can carry it through.
I think, Linda, see, as we were talking here and you were saying tactically and that and stuff, I mean, we were flying up to a point. We were the lowest, with the best defensive record in the league, and it just all seemed to coincide, I think, with the players running out of steam through the lack of fitness. I think Clement got the best out of them, the manager bounced, he got them working harder, we were doing a bit more, maybe not playing the practice of football, but we were winning. And then I think injuries hampered us at certain times. I think Ross McCausland's injury put them out for 6-8 games. I think it had a big factor on the right-hand side where we had to try and find somebody in there. I think Yilmaz getting out injured as well. Seema obviously went out. But I think we were coping with sort of Seema's injury to a point, I think, but it didn't help. And I just think at certain times, and obviously everybody knows the 2 games that, or 3 games, you could probably trace it back to the Motherwell game, because I think even in that game we had plenty of chances, but I just think the fitness level as well as the injuries and no performing in the 2 games when you should have, I just think the team were on empty by the sounds, and I think Clement's alluded to that a few times.
And he had to over-rely on certain players as well, didn't he, Southside, because of the injuries? You know, playing players week in, week out, not a lot of them didn't even get taken off. I mean, John Loonsom's a classic example of that as well, you know, playing every game, every minute of every game. He'd somebody like Nico Raskin, and I know he wasn't in the best of form at times. He got the injury as well, but he wasn't even taking maybe Lundstrom off to give Raskin minutes to try and build him up. You know, that's just an example. But I agree with you that for me it all goes back to that Motherwell game when we lost 2-1. We had been at Killie, we had won 2-1 then. Really great result. And the game before that, we demolished Hearts at Ibrox 5-0. And it was after, as you say, the Motherwell game onwards, everything started to just get on top of them. The injuries, the lack of fitness. And if you think about it, see at that point, we had Danilo was obviously out as well. We signed that boy Cortez, and he got injured in the Killie game, and we've never seen him since. We've not had Mutondo. So you're talking about the forward players there, Southside. There's been, 5 or 6 of them injured sometimes on the one go. So it's a combination of a lot of things, coupled with some poor form that some of the players hit as well, I think.
Well, Davey M on Facebook's just posted up, shocking defending and terrible defending sums it up in a nutshell. There you go, Bridge.
Absolutely right. 100% correct. 100% correct.
Aye, listen, as I said, you've got to be fit. Listen, Connor Golson came straight into the team under Michael Beale and started the season, and he lasted until he got an injury. His form was pretty poor, but he turned up every week, Linda, and you wonder, people going about pre-seasons, you need to do a pre-season, yet he walked in and stayed in that team and never moved it until injury.
Who was that you were saying there, Southside?
Connor Golson.
Connor Golson, aye, yeah.
Well, wasn't Golson injured at the tail end of last season? I think he was injured and never got a full pre-season either.
Mm-hmm.
Memory serves me right. So,
Well, if you two people would like to go on mute, as a phone-in show, so hopefully we'll hear maybe 1 or 2 views for callers in the second half. But if you two would like to go on mute, we're going to hear a tune.
Hurrah, hurrah, we are the Billy Boys. Hurrah, hurrah, we make a lot of noise. We're up to here, we never fear, we all are Billy's sons. We are the Glasgow Billy Boys. We belong to Glasgow, we're orange and we're true. Scotland is our country, our colours white and blue. We're Protestants and proud of it, we're known from near and far. Glasgow Billy Boys they call us. Hurrah, hurrah, we are the Billy Boys. Hurrah, hurrah, we boy, we're very proud to say. James, he was defeated, justice had been done. Raise now a glass to King William. Hurrah, hurrah, we are the Billy Boys. Hurrah, hurrah, we make a lot of noise. We're up to here, but we never fear, we all are Billy's sons. We are the Glasgow Billy Boys. Hurrah, hurrah, we are the Billy Boys. Hurrah, hurrah, we make a lot of noise. We're up to here, we never fear, we all are Billy's sons. We are the Glasgow Billy Boys.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, thanks for that, Foxy boy. Did you like that, Linda?
Yes, nice little tune there.
Aye, nice. Where do I start? I was going to actually ask you what you thought. His name's just escaped me. I should know it now. The boy played left back.
Yilmaz.
No.
Oh,
Fraser. Robbie Fraser. Sorry, imagine not forgetting Robbie Fraser. He's not had a lot. Listen, he's never had a very much game time, but in the two sort of appearances I've seen him, Linda, and you've seen him yourself, I think he's looked comfortable on the ball. I think he doesn't seem to get flustered. I think he was driving forward. And I thought for the time he was on the park, apart from a couple of wee times, Minoda's a good player, right? Let's not be kiddie. The boy's a good player, and he slipped in one of the other times that the boy got through, and I think he got blocked by Ben Davis. But I thought in the sort of fleeting 2 games I've seen him, he's looked pretty comfortable on the ball.
yeah, I thought he did fine. You know, he's waited a long time to make his debut, hasn't he? And you know, he's been at the club, you know, for years. So it was nice to see him given a chance, and I thought he did okay. Yeah, I agree with you. He did slip a couple of times, as he maybe got the wrong studs on it. I don't know what was happening with him there, but he seemed to recover from that. He could have had an assist, because I think he put a ball into Dessers, didn't he? And did Dessers shoot wide south side? It was he should have scored that, so he would have had an assist. But it's difficult for the players to come in as well. You know, they're coming in and there's a lot of changes, and we're expecting big things from them, and quite rightly so. When you play for Rangers, we're expecting you to play well, but it was pleasing for him to get his chance, and he'll be delighted, him and his family.
Aye, certainly will be. He's a wee boy nose, and he's waited a long time to make his debut. Talking about debuts, I'm sure we've got Andy Phillips on. How are you, pal?
Hi, good evening. Good evening, panel.
Andy.
Hi, Doll. Hiya, Bridge.
Doll for me. Doll for me.
If you want to be a doll, you can be a doll. See, my take on it, I think the problem is the players are not of the right quality that can play for this great club of ours. They've got no heart, they're spineless. I think the filth in Waheed more so than they've ever been. And listen, if you can't beat them once or take a couple of games after the filth, you're winning no league. I think a lot of them are beat now before they even touch them. You know, if you look at the look of fear on some of them when they cross the line is frightening. That's what really gets at me. I don't think we're shopping in the right market, and we're being told that it looks like it's going to be South Americans again. It doesn't work. It does not work. Our game's different. It's hard. It's not the greatest game, not the greatest quality these days, but it's hard. If you got people that are not going to stand up, we're in trouble before we even kick a ball, in my opinion. It's very frustrating. I mean, this one, to me, hurts more than any of the other ones, because we've not been in at the back end. But we had this one in our hands, and gear and bottled it like they did. I think the manager's finding it harder than what he thought it was going to be. I know we've got lots of injuries, but constantly playing people out of position, that don't work. I mean, the guys that are not of strong mind, in my opinion. Don't put them in alien positions to them because they're going to struggle. At least put them in a position that they believe they can play in. But the problem is we've got so many bad players in that club. It's unbelievable. And I don't say we're going to put this right. We've got no money. I'm really worried, honestly. I just hope that they have a bit of pride. I think some of them look like they've chopped it already. They just want to get away for their holidays. I'm just hoping that they're going to stand up for it. Just a one-off game, have a go, and let's see what happens. So that's my take on it.
No, Andy, you make a lot of good points and off what we've judged earlier the season. So I'll let Linda answer some of your points on that.
Cheers, Southside. No, Andy, the first point you made about the Old Firm games, absolutely. You have to be able to beat your closest rivals. Let's face it, Andy, it's a 2-team league. And that's probably not going to change, Andy, unless there's dramatic improvement in the other teams. So when you match up against them, and let's just concentrate on the league, because that's what we were talking about. You were talking about there. You need to beat them if you get them in the cups as well. I understand that, but the league's your bread and butter. That's your aim every year. The first thing, Andy, is we need to start beating them at Ibrox. We've got, under Gerrard, we'd got into a good habit, and I know he should have won more as well. But at home, we looked quite confident, and we looked as if we did beat them. But we're actually getting to the stage now, Andy, where when we play at home, we're not confident that we're going to beat them. So you've got to try and get those factors right. And when we go to Parkhead, we need to get rid of this fear factor. And I know that's easier said than done. And also one last thing about the Old Firm games, Andy, we need to stop shooting ourselves in the foot and stop conceding the first goal every time we play them, because their confidence just goes up, and we just don't seem to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think when we come out against them, I think we'll outbeat it. You can't basic mistakes that you wouldn't see in a Sunday morning pack. You know what I mean? And they're not one-offs. They're time and time again every time we play them. You can forgive it if it's an odd mistake, but it's every game you can guarantee they're going to make a basic mistake. That's not good enough. That's not good enough at any level, but it's not good enough when we're playing with rivals. We all know what they're about. It's becoming laughing. They're taking the mick now. They really are. They don't worry about us. They give 18 points up this season, and we still, with it in our hand, couldn't win it. It's criminal. They're crying out saying that we need money. Everybody knew the importance of winning this league because of the new format in the Champions League. We had it in our hands and we tossed it. I'll be glad, honestly, when this season's done and most of these guys do not come back. I don't want to see them again, but we really shouldn't. I'm talking about the majority of the team.
Yes, but which ones? Which ones in particular?
Which ones? Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go this way. I'd keep Butland, Ridvan, and McCausland. The rest of them, get rid. I don't think any of them are good enough to take us forward.
Do you think Rangers are going to get rid of all these guys that are injured? All the guys that are injured, there's about 9 or 10 of them. They're going to get rid of all of them?
No, they won't get rid of them all because they can't bridge.
Well,
I'm just saying what I want,
You're saying you would only keep 3 players and get more in, right? So that's fine. If that's the way you're going to start, then we'll do that. All I'm saying is you've got 9 players injured at the moment, so they can go based on what you're saying. And now you've got the rest of the team. You've got 8 players in a team that you can't get. So you need to replace them and the guys that are injured.
It's a lot, isn't it? But I would. This is just my opinion, isn't it? And I'm sticking with it. I don't think any of them players that you're talking about, the injured players or the players in that club, other than them 3 players, will take Rangers to where we need to be. I'm not daft that I know that we can't get rid of all of them at once. Unfortunately, a lot of them will still be there, and it'll be 3 or 4 that they bring in. So we'll have the same problems.
I think
saying what I want, what I want to happen.
I think, Andy, it'll be more than 3 or 4 we'll bring in, to be honest, right? But I agree. Listen, if we had a magic wand, a lot of people would just have Tav and Golson no longer playing at the club, right? I get that, right? And I get it, Jaime, but probably the facts will be that Tav will still be there next year. Golson, I've already said what I would do with Golson. I would just tell him you're no longer part of my plans next year, and you need to go and find a club, and you'll no train, you'll no be playing in any friendlies, because I don't want you part of my club, Linda. I'm going forward with new players, so that's what I would have said to Golson. I know he gets a chunky pie packet, but there's a good chance he'll probably want to move if he really does know that he's not going to be part of the manager's plans.
In an ideal world, you hope that the players that he sees in that category that are not part of his plans, that there's an honest discussion takes place, and you hope that they take a bit of pride in themselves and they want to play football. So they'll be saying to their agents, right, let's try and find me another club. But we know that in an ideal world, that's what we want, but we know that it doesn't work like that, because nowadays players are quite happy, some of them, to take the money even if they're not playing football. Whereas if you think about in years gone by, that would be an unthinkable thing for a professional footballer. They needed to be playing football to earn their wages on bonuses and when they get paid per point, and their basic salaries weren't what they are just now, Southside. So in an ideal world, I understand what you're saying there, but what we need to recognise is that might not happen because of what we're dealing with in modern day footballers. But you just hope, as you've said, that they will have honest discussions with some of them, and some of them will go, even the ones that are still under contract. But the other thing is that somebody needs to want to buy them.
Aye, that's true. You need, hopefully they'll get good agents, to be honest, Bridge, you know. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, listen, they're no of someone will be there too long, and that's just a matter of fact. And Clement needs to do a full rebuild. He needs to be able, and it'll not take him one transfer window. He probably need three, as in summer, January, to maybe get one or two to tweak it, and then probably another summer again. That's what I would think. You've got to give him the chance. He wants to buy faster, quicker, more powerful players, and then fit them into a system that he was going to believe in. He's working with players that were bought under a Beale thing. He wants to play with wingers, and probably Beale didn't, but it looks at it. And Beale sort of didn't really want to play with a real centre forward that scored his goals and Kola and changed them to Dessers. So we need to give him time, Andy, and we've got to believe that he will do it. Listen, he's won leagues in Belgium, so he's no daft. He knows how to do this. We just have to try and fund him as much as we can in the first phase to allow him to try and get the quality to make the difference. And if we're left with a couple or two or three and they're no regular starters, but they might be squad players, then so be it.
Yeah, look, I get that he's won leagues, but Scottish football and the way it's structured up there and the way it is, it's a different beast to what he's had there before. Didn't he not say, well, I've watched 6 or 7 games and I won it with Bruges? You can't lose 6 or 7 games in Scotland. And we're constant for doing that. And so he ain't winning no league, no matter who he brings in. Minimum, you can lose 4. We can't guarantee that any season at all in the league with this Rangers team. Of these current players. The back line's more or less decimated anyway, and it Barras is away. Golston, as you said, I would get rid of. And we can, no matter what anybody thinks of Tavernier, what he's done, his records, you can't knock. But his legs have totally gone now. He's gone. We cannot go another season with him. We have to get a decent right back in there, or stick Sterling in there where it is. And we have to get some players that understand that can stand up to the rigours of Scottish football. I don't think South Americans can, and that's been proven. And we're making the same mistake. Another couple of guys we've let? Well, we'll let Morales go, Kent go for nothing, run the contract down. Barras' contract down, Bruce's contract down. Not that he's made any difference because he's injured all the time. Jax has gone down. They're just letting contracts go. And not getting any money in at all. So how are we making money? We're screwing the club both ways, in my opinion. You're getting nothing for them. We're getting nothing out of them. Nobody's going to any of these players that we've got now. Come on, could he honestly say on what they've done for the team that agents and clubs are going to be looking at our players? I don't think so. We're going to struggle. The only one we've got there that we could sell, well, we've got 2, I reckon. We could sell Red Van and we could sell Butland. the rest. Can you honestly say we're going to make any money off of them? It's pitiful, it's shameful that we're having to put up with this every season. There's no sign of improvement. And can you see any difference in any of the football really from Clement coming in? We're no better off. In fact, we're 8 points. What did we finish losing it by 8 points? It's all right getting there, isn't it? But if you can't carry it, if you get there, wait a minute, if you get there and get yourself in a position where you got it in your hands and you cannot take it over the line, that's not acceptable. I don't care what anybody says.
But listening to you, right, and I agree with what you're saying, right, I get it, Andy, but see, at the same time you're telling us that these players aren't good enough, these players are this, these players are that, they're unfit, they're not ready, and then although they had the chance to do this, they couldn't get it over the line. So,
yeah, well, that bit comes down to them not having the bottles, isn't it? That's the big thing as well.
Probably bottle. We spoke earlier, Andy, and we said as his injuries hampered us. I mean, and it has at certain times in the games, which it's unstructured the team the way Clement had it. For what we were doing up until the end of February to what we've done between March and May, it's night and day. That could be due to the injuries. The fitness bridge, it's hampered us for a lot of the players, but injuries and players are for them. We've gave away stupid goals, but there's got to be a collective in Everton bridge that's done it. It's not just day 2 games. Day 2 games were the games. I know you've got to win them, and I know it would have changed things, but it's been a collective leading up to that, Andy. I think we had been struggling, Bridge. I'll let you come in, Bridge. I think we were struggling up to that point, regardless, even though we were getting results. The performances were poor.
Yeah, well, Andy was hitting the nail on the head as far as the team across the city. We should be able to hold our own. When I say hold our own, we should be winning our games at Ibrox. I don't care what they say. And they'll be thinking the same thing. We should be at least winning the games at Parkhead. And that's a given between the two teams in all probability. But it doesn't always work out that way. And of course, the worst thing that could happen is if they come to Ibrox and beat us, which is when it was the worst thing that could happen. Of course, it's happened all the time, apart from the odd one. But we need to start winning at Ibrox. The players that we've got injured at the moment, we need to get to the end of the season completely, right, and let them get to, shall we say, get some training under their belt, get a wee holiday or whatever it is. Maybe they've had a holiday already, but a wee holiday. Go and do what you've got to do. Come back in 2 or 3 weeks, and then start doing your pre-season training. And I'll tell you, after 4 weeks of pre-season training, you'll find out whether these players have got it or no. That's when they should be their highest quality fitness, at match fitness level as well. Everything should be absolutely spot on. They should be well run in and ready to rock and roll. See what happens. That's what you need. You need at least 4 weeks of really hard pre-season training and obviously some games, internal games. And let's see how you can do and you get how you're controlling the ball. All these things, well, the fitness and coaching people will be looking at them anyway while they do it. And that needs to be done. You can't have 7 or 8 players sitting injured at Glasgow Rangers, maybe 9 players. You just can't have it. There's something seriously wrong if these people are getting injured. If they're getting injured by knocks during the game, then fine. But it's, a lot of hamstrings and things like that. That's not right. We shouldn't be having these things. He needs to look at it. But what Andy said, South Americans aren't going to be very good. Well, you know, he might be right. He might be right. But I'd like to think that these the South American players are technically gifted players in general. But Scottish League is not for technically gifted people. We'll get booted off the park a number of times. That's all I've got to say about that.
Canija done no bad, Linda.
He did.
Yeah, of course. There's loads of them who have done it. Oh, sorry, Linda. Sorry.
He'd also played in the Scottish League as well, Southside, because we signed him from Dundee, and he knew that he was coping with the rigours of the Scottish League. I agree with Andy in that point. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm. Now, I agree with Andy as well.
I don't know, Southside, if that... How do you know if they're going to cope with the rigours of this league unless they're... The only way that you would know that before you sign them is if they play in this league already, because you take a chance in any signing when they come in. It doesn't matter how good they are. Are they going to be able to play in this country? So I don't know whether you hope that he's perhaps looking at some of the players that are already playing here. I know that's another big debate Southside, but you would like to think that there's maybe a couple on the radar that he's maybe looking to bring in, and they don't have to be Scottish, but they could be playing in this league already, and it might cost us a few bob, but it must be something that they'll be considering. Whether they do it or not is another matter, but they shouldn't be discounting it. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with Andy. Like, we can't get down the South American route and all that for certain players. Andy and Phil are team. I get you can maybe have one or two if he sees talent in them, Andy, and that I get it. But
you need a mixture, don't you? You need a mixture. Yeah, I don't mind South Americans coming in, but I'm only going on what we've seen so far. He might go and get 2 or 3, and they might be brilliant. They might look good. They might be good players, but they'll not be allowed to play in Scotland. You have people that are going to be strong enough to play for Rangers, playing Scottish football, and we have to get a mixture of that. We have to get that balance right. The worrying thing for me is we don't seem to be rectifying the mistakes season on, season off. It's heartbreaking as this, you know what I mean? I said, this one's killed me more than any of the ones that's gone before. And now, you see, they're on top of us now. We're record. Everything that we held dear. We're tossing records over to these people, and they're just laughing, taking the mickey out of us. And we don't seem to want to put it right. We, the fans, do. We're hurting. I just want them players to hurt like we do, because it's beginning to really do my nothing now. It's been doing my nothing for far too long. And I can't get how people just accept it. And we have a lot of our fans that just accept it. That's not the way it is.
No, I know there is a sort of... Listen, the vast majority of support, if not just about all of them, there'll be one or two that are maybe just think, it's the norm, we're not going to get any better, that's just what we see. But it's not the case. It goes in cycles, as we know, Andy. And the managers...
What a big cycle we're on, pal.
It has been, mate. It has been. Bob J will come to you in a wee second, pal, right?
No worries, pal.
It has been that sort of cycle, Andrew, and the manager has already touched on it. He actually quoted more or less. He says there will be changes, he said, and there is change happening. He said this club's at the end of a cycle, and I want them to end it in a good way for the ones that might not be here or here, Linda, you know. So, but there's going to be change. We'd like it to be loads of change straight away, but I think we've got to be realistic. And I think if we could get 10, 11 out, and we could even get 9 or 10 in, depending on budget-wise and that. But there will be a big influx of players coming in, but we'll have to use the youths as well to try and promote that for the European. There'll be the box tickers, as Albert says, that will sit on the bench to tick the boxes for the Scottish contingent.
And you're right, Southside, about the finances as well. And I think we're all very much aware of that. We know about financial fair play. We know that the club doesn't have millions and millions of pounds to spend. There is going to be a budget, but they'll have to be quite clever in how they garner funds. And it might be that a couple of those players that Andy mentioned might have to be sold to fund it. But that'll obviously be a discussion. We don't want to lose our best players, but we've got to be realistic as well that sometimes in the past we've not sold players at the right time. So it is going to be a bit of a balancing act. But Andy's right. It's this in terms of this cycle. It's been an awful experience for us. We've won a few trophies in the last few years, but nowhere near enough, because that's what this club's been built on. And let's hope that the next cycle is going to be an awful lot better than the last sort of, since Gerrard came in, because you always hark back to that Southside, don't we? That was kind of when we thought, are we going to be getting ourselves back up to the top of Scottish football? But it's been a long journey for us, and it's been a lot harder than maybe we expected.
It's been right, Bob J, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing all right, pal. I'm doing very well with the dog in him. Hi, Brits, all right? Hi.
All right, bud.
Hi, Bob.
Okay. I'm calling a lawyer's letter from my ex-wife. Anyway, you're on about cycles. You didn't forget that this cycle began in 2012 with Craig White and his letter, and it was always going to be a long trek back to the top for the club. And yeah, on occasion we've got there. But we're just going to have to bear it another wee while, I think, till Clement sort of transforms it round. Hopefully transforms it round this summer to get the better of them. Because the thing is, without going on about them, they're not that great. And I think we're nearly there with it. So that's my take on it. It was always going to be a long, long time before Rangers reached the pinnacle of Scottish football again. But reach it we will. But nothing more certain. Have optimism for the future, folks. I can, it's frustrating looking at them running round in triumph and what have you. But we've been there with that and we'll be there with that again. I've got every confidence in that. I'm sure the rest of you have.
Andy, I'll ask you this question and I'll run it round the rest of the panel, Andy. How long do you think the support realistically will look at Clement to give him the time? I think he should get his time out, his term, right? I think he will be successful, right? I think when he manages to get a rebuild, but do you think how long would you give him, Andy, if you don't mind me asking you?
Well, he's got to get up to January, hasn't he? What you're hearing stories the now and the toxic way that our Rangers support is the now, right? See if he don't win on Saturday and he gets beaten the first Old Firm game. That'll be 5 games on. You know what's going to happen. You know we've been Rangers fans long enough. They'll be baying for him. They'll be wanting him, and will this board panic like they've done before? Get rid of managers. Look, I've got nothing against the guy, but a lot of the stuff that he's come out with in the last 10 weeks has baffled me. You know, I wouldn't have even said half of the stuff he said because that just angers Rangers fans. A lot of it is absolute geek. He's saying there in the last one on Friday, I don't think I can do this job on my own, right? I get that. It's a big job. It's a big beast. We know that, right enough. But I'm not convinced if it don't start turning for him and he don't get it. I don't know if he's got the belly for the fight. He tells you, he come in, did he not? Listen, not us, none of us, he come in. I'll not stand for this. I don't care if I've got injuries or no. If I don't see them putting it in for that shirt, they'll be out of the team. That's what he said. Don't worry about it. We can get beat here as long as we win the marathon. Well, we didn't. They ended up sprinting. They're not even sprinting in the end. They didn't even to not even be able to run over the white line and go for it and just see what happened. But go down fighting. That's his management, you know. And then he come out to Dundee and Ross and said, "Well, we're great in the games." Oh, come on, don't give us stuff like that. That's what angers me, and it angers a lot of Rangers fans out there. That's my worry with him.
Right. Linda, what's your thoughts? We gave Steven Gerrard time when he came in. He was probably close. A lot of fans were probably starting to think after the second season. I mean, he was under a bit of pressure. And then obviously hit the COVID season, and then he stormed the league. So what's your thoughts on Clement?
I mean, if we think that Clement's in the same sort of predicament as what, you know, Gerrard was when he came in, squad-wise, I'm talking about, the club's obviously in a better footing now in terms of the work being done behind the scenes and financially, and, you know, what's been put in place. There's still work to be done there. But if we're saying that maybe squad-wise, in terms of the rebuild, Clement's going to have to get the time. But I agree with Andy that if we don't win on Saturday, and then the first Old Firm game, I believe, is at Parkhead, it'll be away this next season, the pressure might be on him. But see, really, Southside, that we can't just keep sacking managers in October of a season. I mean, I don't know. I know that it's a difficult job, and the fans might start to, you know, obviously vent their anger with, you know, not support with their feet. You know, we put the money in, and you know, if people stop spending money, then the board have got an issue and they've got a problem to solve. But I just think we can't keep going through every year where we get rid of the manager come October.
No, we can't. Well, when you look at the state of some of the teams, when you feel, even look at even Scotland, look at the state of Hibs. They've been going through managers. Aberdeen's done the same. I know they don't matter to us, nor that. I know that, but you got to. I just think we gave Bill Bridge, gave him the keys of the door to go and buy the players, because we had nobody in the background set up to look at stuff. and he was trusted in his style of football. But he wanted to do is different for this manager. This manager's been a manager. He's won league titles, and I just think if we can supply him with enough money and he can save enough money out the squad, and we can sell some of the players that we're looking to get ready, it will help him. But I think you've got to believe in him, and I think a new squad of players, when we go up there to play them next season, that shouldn't matter. It's a new squad of players. I don't know what you think, but he's got to get the time.
100%. He's got to get the time. There is nothing wrong with a manager. He might sometimes he might find it difficult to say certain words, and sometimes when he does say them, some of the words you think, should he say that? And I've just said that when I listened to him tonight. Why are you talking like this? Why are you saying this, that, or the next thing about the Rangers to the press? Don't go open your mouth to them. Just answer a question. That's it, done. You don't need to explain anything to them in any way, shape, or form, or tell them how you're feeling. Just let it go. And that's what I like. Keep your own counsel at all times. That's the very first thing I want a manager to do. Keep your own counsel. You don't need to tell the press this one, that one, and the next one. They'll ask the questions. You just bat them back. Finished, as far as I'm concerned. And that will save a lot of mess, a lot of thinking, thinking bad by Rangers fans. I don't want Rangers fans, because the guy can easily get tripped up. The press do it all the time with him. And as soon as he says one thing, that gets expanded to something else. Before you know, it's on Twitter and it's exploded. And there he goes. There's Clement, there's this, that, and the next thing. That's what happens. It can happen. I don't want that to happen. Manager said, take your time and think what you're going to say, and don't involve personal things. You don't do it. Don't tell them, I'm not like that, I don't do this, or I don't. Tell them nothing. Just tell them nothing. As far as I'm concerned, so I might be sounding stupid. That's the way I want my manager to be. Don't tell them nothing unless you know what you want to say. Tell them nothing. Because they're just insidious people, Dreadful. Our manager, I want our manager to stay, and I want him to get a chance to build, along with the players. I know that Andy's not keen on some of the players that are injured, but you've got people like Danilo. He's been a long time injury. Hopefully he's coming back. Once he gets a pre-season under him, and the young lad that come out the left winger, the left midfielder, sorry, I can't remember his name for the life of me, but they'll be great players, great additions to their squad, and they'll be able to pick up and be with the rest of the squad. And there's a number of them that are sitting injured. There's some of them injured that we know will always be injured as far as Rangers are concerned, and they might never come back. I don't think we'll ever see Jack again, and I'm saying that he might be playing at the weekend, but Ruth, I just don't see the point in playing these guys. But we know how difficult it is. We know that the manager's trying to grab the most experienced players they can and get them on the park. And I'm afraid that some of them just don't want to play. That's what it seems like anyway. So I just wish them luck, and I wish all the fans luck, and I hope the fans just be patient with him and let him go on and do what he's got to do without putting any pressure on him. Because the pressure for Rangers fans is enormous, absolutely enormous. There's no other club in the world generates the pressure against the manager like we do.
Aye, I think I've got a comment, Andy, and I'll come to you with it. It was for a boy, Dave AP, and he says, if Clement plays the same tactics on Saturday, is that inexcusable? Or is it down to the fact that it's all the personnel that we have, and maybe that is the system that he will play with new players next season? What do you think, Andy?
Well, look, if he plays the same system, no matter who he's got available to him on Saturday that he employed at their place, I was going to say a bad word there, but I'll behave myself. He will get done, because he's got to stiffen that midfield. He's got to stop that supply from coming through. I would possibly put Sterling at right back and move Tavernier up so that they can't make a beeline to attack Tavernier at that right-hand side all the time. Try something different, but he has to really stiffen that midfield up and really just get about them, sit about them straight away, show them that we're not bothered. It's a one-off after all, so I have to go for it, but we'll have to be strong in the tackle. You win all 4 games in the midfield, and we have to win the midfield no matter who he puts out. It's hard to say what system we'll put out next season, we don't know, because we don't know who's coming, do we? So I'm concerned about. Listen, I want Clement to do the business. I want him to prove me wrong and all that, right enough. I want people to come and say, what are you talking about, Andy? Right? But you can only talk or give your honest opinion up to what you see in the now. What's in the future, we don't know. If they play well, I'll tell you they played well. But what I'm seeing the now and what I'm seeing my team do, season on, season off, is very concerning. I mean, it's concerning to thousands upon thousands of Rangers fans. Just get that midfield sorted and get into them and get it up to the fans, because they're probably enough for the last few years. Let's have some, just 90 minutes of joy, please. Give it. That's all I'm asking. Anyway, I'm off the rant now.
No, you're entitled to your opinion. James, I know you're in, I'll come to you in a wee second. Bob J, you still get faith in the manager going forward next season, regardless
I do,
you
actually,
let him do the rebuild?
He's only been here 6 months outside. And what he inherited, well, we didn't need to. We've analysed that enough. Our big mistake was appointing Beale. Beale was all right as a second in command, but to manage a club like Rangers, as you said, a big mighty club like Glasgow Rangers, was something else, and he couldn't hack it, the man. And look at the state he left that man, but look at the state of the squad he left that man when he came in. And the man, and it's all, you've just mentioned, it's all going to take time to sort out, but you didn't get forever in a day if you're a manager of Rangers. We need success, and we need it now. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Clement. But I will say you'll get next season, and that'll be it. That's my time limit on him. I think we're all the same concern opinion about that.
Well, hopefully we'll have trophies then, Bob, next season then, if he's getting the one season.
I mean, we're used to trophies. We're used to trophies. We were always used to success. We could always hurt them. Under the halcyon days of Steen, when I was a young man, okay, they won trophy after trophy, but we won trophies as well, and we could hurt them. We just didn't seem to be able to hurt them now. Whatever the hell's wrong, and it's frustrating the life out of the lot of us that we're going game after game against them and getting defeated. And it's just no good enough, and it's got to turn the corner sometime. So hopefully Mr. Clement can do that, and he's rebuild. It's him that's stated about the rebuild. He's going to put people up, people out, and bring people in. Let's see who he brings in. Let's see if they're up to it or no, if they're up with the fight against them.
Right, okay, I'll just bring in my good friend from Tennessee who's taken the time to call in. One of the best singers that comes on this show, by the way, when he is. One of the best singers. James, the floor's all yours.
Hello, everyone.
Here's a song.
Not just yet. Wait till after my comment. Right. What I would do is give any new players that come in a 2-year contract and say to them, as the manager or whoever's giving them a contract, we're in trouble. We need results. You'll get a 2-year contract. If you don't do the business after a year, we're going to sell you. And if you still don't do even we might not even play you the next year. Be straight with players and say, look, we want results, and we're a very honest football team. And don't give them these 4 years and then they get injured and they're not that great and all that, and it's hard to get rid of them. That's the problem. And give them an option maybe to the 3rd year. But remember Derek Johnston. Derek Johnston was a player who came on for the cup final and won the game. And I know Fox is a dead nice guy, but I don't like Tavernier, but he likes him. But I would drop him, to be honest. And I would bring in I don't know if Cole McKinnon would play that position, but we need somebody fast to play against the Japanese player. And if we get in with determination, there's not enough determination. I was playing football during the week there, 6-a-side, and one of the guys said in the opposition, leave it. And I thought it was one of our team, and it was one of the other guys, and I shouted at him, and really shouted at him. And my son said, you're going to get us into a fight. But that's what this team needs, of no fight. And I would stick with the manager for another year. But he's got to make decisions like bring in somebody new, like Cole McKinnon, and to play against this guy, because this guy's fast. The Japanese guy, what's his name? What's his name? Do you know?
Maeda.
Yeah, he's very fast. He's very strong. And by the way, that goal that we lost to Ibrox, that was a good goal because he knew that if he could get a touch off Tavernier, he would score. That's what happened.
It was a fluke, James. It was a fluke.
No, I think he knew what he was doing.
I think he tried it. I think he thought, I know what you're saying. Logically in his brain, if he shuts something, he's sticking his foot out. But let's be honest, it was a fluke. You're walking away anywhere.
Yeah, but that's what happened. We could get a fluke on Saturday to win the cup. So I would change it because if he plays the same players and get beats, well, and if he plays the same players next year, well, there's no hope. I would say there's no hope because the guy hasn't learned.
All right, I'll put this. Well, if you want to change it, I'll put this one. I'll get to Linda first, and then the rest of you can chip in just quickly because we're getting near the end of the show. Lundstrom, if he's wanting to bolster the midfield, does he come back, Linda? Do you think the manager brings him back, or do you think Raskin's done enough to merit a place?
I think the manager might bring him back, but I wouldn't play him north south side.
Okay, Andy.
No, I should never wear a Rangers shirt again.
You want to win a cup bit and the manager might see he wants to play him?
No, I still don't think his attitude would be right. It's how he responds to it, and I don't trust him. He doesn't do enough. He chickens games him. You know my opinion on him. You shouldn't ask me about him. Move on.
Bridge, do you think the manager will bring him back? Do you think it's in his thoughts? Or do you think he's just burnt his bridges and he's probably gone to Trabzonspor?
Well, I don't know where he's going, but I do think, and I feel that the manager is going to use him, and maybe the manager spoken to him regarding what he did against them the last time we played against them, and if you want to play, you can't do anything like that again. Blah 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 blah, and make yourself. You need to be up for it. Or I'll pull you off. I'll play you, but if you do anything wrong, I'm going to pull you off. Simple as that. I think that's what he'll do. Along those lines, I think. Look, I don't like Lundstrom anymore. I think Lundstrom did so much damage to Rangers the last game he played against them, and it was just absolutely scandalous. Basically, 2 goals he gave away. Obviously, an own goal, but seriously, he just murdered Polis. So if he's going to play, if one is going to get him playing, he needs to get a bit more out of him than what he gave the last time. And I hope whatever he does is the last time we ever see John Lundstrom in a Rangers jersey. I really do hope so. But I wish him luck. If the managers want to play him and he picks him, then obviously I'm going to support him, and I wish him luck for the game. I hope he gets over that problem he had with the Celtic before, and he makes up for it.
I think if I'm in that pub in Shawlands and that team comes out at 1:45, James, and then Lundstrom's in that team, I think I'll be having a treble vodka. Never mind a double.
Well, I think Lundstrom will not be in football videos of players fighting with supporters in Turkey. You see the fights that's going on there, by the way. You'll be running the opposite way. He's not got it. He never had it. You know what I mean? He just exploded because he knew he was going and wasn't going to win the league, and that's why he put the boot in him. I wouldn't play him. He's finished. Let him go, Turkey. See how he gets on. If he gets paid or he gets beat up.
I think that's Bob J. Depending on injuries, right, and who we can get back. If he takes a risk, I don't know Suter's injury at the moment, right? I don't know. We'll probably find out when he does a presser this week. And Balogun, if he risks one of them and they break down, then he's going to have cover. If Ridvan can't play 90 minutes, according to the physios and the medical team, then I don't think he plays Robbie Fraser. I think he probably plays John Sterling at left back.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think he would. I mean, all said and done, Barisic is an experienced player. He's played in cup finals before for us. Or has he? I don't know. Barisic's an experienced player. I would start with Barisic at left back. Because we need Dijon Sterling in the middle of that park. That's where they attack with that O'Reilly and company. And we need people to oppose them. John Lundstrom, I would say to him, see you owe this club big time for your display the last time. If I'm going to play you, you better get out there, you better give it your level best for the club and the supporters. Because he's been one of the hefty wage earners, am I right? Lundstrom. That's why they're getting him off the ball. I'd say to him, this is your swan song for Rangers. You get out there and come back in with that cup. I wouldn't play Rascan. I don't think Rascan's probably 100% fit for us. I don't think.
I've just had a text for you, Bears missus. You've put his blood pressure up the minute you mentioned Barisic playing at left back. Just try to calm him down now.
Well, you want to play the young boy then?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think young boy will start. I don't think he'll start. I don't think Barisic will start. Well, and I don't think Lundstrom will start, but that's just my opinion. Andy, but if Lundstrom starts, I think it would be because maybe, I don't know, Dujon would maybe, if Ridvan can't play the 90 minutes, he's going to have a conundrum. He's going to have to work out who's going to be fit enough for this team. And who can put in a shift, really, to be honest. Let's not be kidded. He's got a jigsaw puzzle. He wants to play a certain system. I don't think he'll change for it, Andy. He might surprise us, but I think he'll just go with the same 4-2-3-1 and he'll just want the players to play on the day. And he'll think that they're good enough to win it.
Yeah, see, he's got a problem. What he's got to do there, right? He's got to work his own management. He knows what the players are. He knows what's available or what's not available to him. He has to look every one of them in the eye and see who he in his mind he can trust. It's all right saying, see the Scouts guy saying, well, you owe me everything. That won't mean nothing to him because whether he gives you everything or he doesn't, he's out of the door. So I just think when he made that tackle, he checked out on Rangers there and then. I don't think we can touch him. Hopefully Ridvan's fit and then you don't have the Barisic one. I'm with old Bears. Message there. I was thinking down the sofa when they brought that one up.
It's all about opinions, mate.
He might be playing wide as well. You know, he's saying, well, I've not got many to pick for it. Well, you don't want him to open up on that. We want to keep that team as tight as we can. So, it has to be named and hopefully some of the players that he thinks he can rely on are going to be in that team,
I'll ask James this one. James, would you swap Sterling and Tav? Would you pull Sterling it right back to take care of Maeda and put Tav up one?
Yeah, I would, because Tavernier, I don't particularly like the fullbacks, Tavernier or Barisic. I've not liked them for years. I'd got rid of them 3-4 years ago, the two of them actually. I never liked them. It's like the other team target those two players all the time. They know they're going to get down the wings and for a cutback, and they always score all the time. Tavernier's losing the pace. Barisic always defends going back. That's a great thing. If you play against somebody who always goes back, he lacks confidence. He'd be the last guy who'd ever play. He plays him and we're in real trouble. Nothing against Bobji. I respect Bobji and it's all about opinions, but he's
Bobji can't play.
Yeah, I would rather play Bobji than Barisic.
No, I disagree.
Yeah.
We're going to play somebody. They're experienced players, these guys. They've been on the course before. And if they're going to take wages and wear that famous blue jersey, you can go out there and try your ARSE off. And this is their swan song for Rangers. I've got to prove it to the support, prove it to the club. They're members of the squad. They're taking the wages. This is the last time this squad will be together on Saturday, and it's got a point to prove, and it's got to go out there and prove it, no matter who you are and what you've done. But we're all frustrated Rangers fans,
That's the problem, Bob J. I'll come to Bridge. That's the problem, Bob J. They've no looked like it in performance levels at times. Application, attitude, Bridge. throughout the season. And as my wee mate says, wee Hadji, he said to me after the Benfica game, he said the team are just knackered. They've run out of energy. They've got nothing left. He says, you're on saying, you want effort and heart and desire out of them. He said, the team are just done. Physically, they're done. He said, they've just run their race. They've got nothing left. They're trying, but they've just not got the energy levels. But that was his assumption.
I don't necessarily disagree with him, to be honest. I've said it quite openly for most of the show. But the guys are right, and the manager will be right for sure. If he picks these players, it's our last stand. He's going to pick these experienced players and have as most experienced people he can get in the game. And I wish him luck, as I say. Personally speaking, there's a number of them I would never have in my team ever again, based on the last 3 or 4 weeks. So how the manager manages to cover things up in a sense of getting these guys to play, I don't know. And Andy's right. When Lundstrom made that tackle, as far as I was concerned at that point, he would never play again for me and my team. That's what I would have said. And the term Andy used was checking out, and that's just what it seemed like. I'll just do this and bang, oh my goodness, they've caught me, I'm away. Well, it doesn't matter because I'm leaving. Such and such, that kind of thing. That's just the way I feel about it all. I think the manager's going to play who the manager wants. The difficulty is for the fans. Are we going to play, like, say, the young boy, the left back, young Robbie, what was his name? Robbie Fraser. We're going to play that boy Robbie Fraser, and the Celtic right wing's quite good. Are we going to play Tav at left back, at right back, and against guys are my then? Fine machine. So I don't know if they're going to do it. Although I must admit, I thought Tav did no too bad against them the last time he played, and then from a speed perspective. But we need to do something. Obviously, we need different players. And we'll be forced to have different players because we don't have that many players available to us anyway. But we never know. This is only Monday, so getting to the end of the week, you might have some good surprises. I'd like to see Sima on, for instance, if it's possible. I don't know if it is, but maybe even Big Balogun gets fit. I don't know. So these are the kind of things that a manager is going to be looking at, I'm sure, and he'll be wishing on a star. He gets at least 10 or 2 players off the injured list to play.
Aye, it's all about opinions. That's the thing, and everybody on here's got a sort of different opinion. John's typed in on Facebook, and he said that he would probably drop Diamondi. He's not kicked a ball against Celtic. He says probably Sterling, Lundstrom, Cantwell, or Raskin in the middle. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Diamondi hasn't. Cantwell hasn't either, to be honest, Linda. In the last couple of games, he's not played. He's been dropped. He's not even started, and I wondered when he played 90 minutes on Saturday whether the manager actually had him in his plans for Saturday. I would, but I don't know so much about Clement.
Quite interesting the point he's made about Diamandi Southside, isn't it? Because I think everybody's just assuming that Diamandi will play, and he made a really great start when he first came into the team. But he's another one that has gone missing in some of these games. So. John makes a good point. See, I mean, it's amazing this conversation we're having tonight, isn't it? And this puzzle that the manager's got to work out. And I don't know about you, Southside, but I feel as if we've been having this conversation for weeks. It's quite incredible, isn't it? The puzzles that he's had to work out and the unavailability of some of these players. You're right what you said earlier. We can't go through another season like this.
James, just been a jigsaw puzzle for the manager since he came in, and I think the amount of injuries that we've took at certain parts in the last few months have been critical to certain parts of the team functioning. A couple of players really off form at times and all, but I think what we're looking for going forward in the rebuild's just a freshness about the squad, people that we'll see will work hard and will be a lot fitter when we come back, and I think we should hopefully see a difference in the team. But the manager's got massive. He's got to think where he's going to put this money in the rebuild.
Well, he's got a difficult job, but It's like, this is 90 minutes a game. These guys are fit. They should be able to go on that field and run for the full 90 minutes or 120. I don't see where they're lacking no energy. Come on. I still play football myself and give it everything. You know what I mean? And they should be able to go on that park and do their very best. But the manager's got to make decent decisions. Oh, it's like, who will he get rid of? Who will he buy? I would give them 2-year contracts. I wouldn't give anybody any more than these 4-year things and say to them, go to somewhere else. There's plenty of guys all over the world want to play football. Tons, millions of players that they can get guys from all over the world to come and play for us. And they'll play for next to nothing, some of these guys. So
some of them.
Give them a lot of money.
So they're paying a lot of money than now, James, unfortunately. But I get what you're saying. I know. We need to get a wage structure in, and hopefully it will be a lower wage bill going forward with better players, younger players, fresher players. Just before you go, James, I don't know if you'll catch us before the end of the season if you phone back in. We'd like to thank you, mate, for phoning in anyway throughout the season and participating in the show. I know there's a big time difference in that where you, but we appreciate it. You phone in all the time and stay part of the show, mate.
Yeah, you're going to have another event.
Probably at some point, maybe next year. I don't know. With nothing in the pipeline at the moment, but you never know. We'll see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. No, I enjoy the show. I respect everybody's opinion because everybody's got the right opinion. I just give mine. It's like we all give our opinions. We don't play for the club. They guys play for the team. We just watch them.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not doing it next Monday, mate, I think you should pop on the show and you can do a wee live performance with a song. I think the boys would enjoy it.
Are you not going to sing before he goes?
No, we're wrapping up. No, I'm getting shout. Fox is screaming across here. He's waving horns and everything, and his fingers getting wagged at me. So, James, let's like to thank you for your contribution. All right.
Thank you,
Andy. Last word, pal.
It's been a pleasure being on. You with great points tonight, and we all feel the passion, don't we? Listen, but I'll leave it with this. Listen, it shouldn't be a given. There should be no get up, injured, half injured or no. It's them you're playing. That's all they should have to want to know. Just get into them and get this great support here, something to get us through the summer through, and then we'll go again next year. But great being on.
No, Andy, thanks enough to yourself for your contribution throughout the season as well, mate. We really appreciate it, So,
I've not been on as much as I like.
Aye, well, if you're on,
lots to put up with, but I'll be back on before we shut down. No doubt about that.
Good, all right, pal. Bob, yeah.
Well, there's only one thing I've got to say. Is short and straight. I support the greatest club in the world, with the greatest support in the world, and I want to go out here on Saturday and show us exactly that. Get out there, get the sleeve rolled up and get in about them. That's the only way in an all fun game.
Same at you, Bob, Jer. If you don't phone in before the next Monday, then I'd like to thank you as well for your contributions, all right, for phoning in and keeping the show going.
I'll be here before next Monday, pal.
I'm sure you will be. No worries.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Right, thanks. Linda?
Yeah, great show tonight, Southside. Great being on with Bridge and your good self, and lots of good points and lots of good discussion. Just like Rangers to win on Saturday for us, Southside. Do it for the fans and give us something to cheer about. But good night, everyone.
Thanks very much, Linda. Bridgeman?
Well, what can I say, Southside? And thanks to yourself and Linda for carrying me through it. And of course, Foxy in the background. Well done, everybody. And I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, this game coming up at the weekend is the biggest game of the season by a million miles. By a million miles. There is so much in it for Rangers that we need to get ourselves together and don't let ourselves down. That's the thing that we need to do. Don't let ourselves down. Keep it going for the Rangers, everybody, because the Rangers need us. Keep it going.
Hi, I'd like to thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank everyone for listening in this evening. I'd also like to thank Andy for Leeds, Bob, Jer and James, all the way from Tennessee, for phoning in this evening. As the usual, two people this show wouldn't happen, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. And we'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. So all in blue for everybody that's going to the game on Saturday. Come on, the Rangers. Good night. Take it away, Fox.